Today on 10 with Tom, we're talking about St. Patrick and forgiveness. So I'm glad you've joined us on today's 10 with Tom. I know St. Patrick's Day isn't today, it's tomorrow. But since it's such a big deal and everybody's getting ready to celebrate with the start of spring break, I thought it'd be a good time to talk a little bit about St. Patrick today. Now, when I was growing up, St. Patrick's Day was a big deal, but we didn't know why. Now, in where I grew up, it was Catholics and Protestants. You were either a Catholic or you were a Protestant. And so for the Catholics, St. Patrick's Day was a really big deal. And so all of the Catholic kids would show up on St. Patrick's Day wearing green. Now, because our area was so heavily Catholic, where I grew up, everybody there was Notre Dame fans. And so every time we saw a Shamrock, we thought of Notre Dame. Every time we heard of Catholics, we thought of Notre Dame. So anytime the Catholics were doing anything, we thought of Notre Dame. Now, we didn't like Notre Dame. Most of the kids I went to school with were fans of either the University of Pittsburgh or Penn State University. Both of those universities played Notre Dame frequently. We didn't care for Notre Dame. And so, as Protestants and Pitt fans and Penn State fans, we had heard that the way to insult the Catholics on St. Patrick's Day was to wear orange. So you always know who was Catholic and who was Protestant on St. Patrick's Day where I grew up, because the Catholics all wore green and the Protestants all wore orange. I don't know what that's all about, but we were just being stupid kids. We had no idea who St. Patrick was. And then we started hearing stories, well, St. Patrick's the guy that drove the snakes out of Ireland. And I remember thinking, why would anybody put snakes in their car to begin with? And then, when I learned a little bit more, well, unless he's going to Northern Ireland, where's he exactly driving to? Because it's an island. There's no place to go. And then I realized they weren't talking about in a car or in even a 15-passenger van. But that was a story that was just a myth. So, as I got older, I wanted to know a little bit more about who St. Patrick was. And come to learn that St. Patrick is not Irish at all. He was actually born in Wales. And he was kidnapped at age 16 by a group of pirates. And he was taken to Ireland. And so, can you imagine being put into slavery in a foreign country, and how that must feel? And we see the ramifications of that in our country, and the incredible division that created over time. And we learn in learning about St. Patrick's story that he escaped from Ireland. And while he was in Ireland, his faith began to grow. And we hear these words from Patrick that he wrote during his captivity. And the faith grew in me, and the Spirit was roused, so that in a single day I have said as many as 100 prayers, and in the night nearly the same. So Patrick became a very praying Catholic. He took his faith very seriously. And so when he escaped, he lived in a monastery, and he began to learn more about the faith. And he learned that his calling was to be a missionary. And so his first wish was to return to Ireland and to take on the pagan culture in which he had been taken to when he was abducted, and to convert the pagans with the love of Jesus. That blows me away. The incredible love and forgiveness that Patrick had for the Irish people, people who didn't believe the way that he did. And you look at that and go, he must have been crazy. You know, how could you forgive people that did what they did to him? And yet, he had experienced the love and the grace and the forgiveness of Christ. And he wanted to share that with people who needed love and grace and forgiveness. And it reminded me of Matthew chapter 18, when Peter comes to Jesus and he asks, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? And Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Okay, and other translations say 70 times 7 times. Point is, if we're trying to keep track, we're going to lose track. Jesus is all about forgiveness and grace, and we are so grateful that he did indeed forgive. And so Patrick takes this forgiveness and this love of Jesus and this desire to share this with the pagan culture of Ireland, and he does indeed return. He returns to Ireland as the second bishop to Ireland. And he devoted his entire life to serving Christians who already lived in Ireland and to converting the pagans. And so he traveled throughout the country. He established monasteries, and he opened schools and churches. And by the time of Patrick's death, on March 17th in the year 461, nearly the entire country of Ireland had become Christians. What a legacy. And so the day of his death, March the 17th, was commemorated as St. Patrick's Day. And what a day to remember somebody who taught us to forgive and to love and to share God's grace with those that need it. That's better than any Shamrock Shake. All right, so I hope you learned something about St. Patrick today, and I hope that'll impact the way that you live. Okay, it's not about drinking green beer or Shamrock Shakes or checking out all the Irish food, but it's about forgiving and changing the culture around you and sharing the love of Jesus. That's who St. Patrick was, and that's what St. Patrick's Day is all about. Also, this is kind of interesting, the rubber band was invented on St. Patrick's Day back in 1845. So if you don't want to wear green, if you don't want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, then shoot yourself with a rubber band. No, I'm just kidding. Just some interesting stuff. Now, a lot going on here at the Village Church. We've got an exciting St. Patrick's Day evening planned as we have youth group tomorrow night. We realize that you guys are on spring break tomorrow, and so if you're in town, we want to see you tomorrow night for youth group. We're going to be putting together a St. Patrick's Day surprise at the end of our youth meeting, and we're going to have a great time together. Then on Sunday, we will be back to normal. We've got everything going on. We'll have Sunday school at both services at 9 and 11 a.m. on Sunday. We will also have youth group Sunday night, and now that it's staying lighter longer, we're going to have a great time with that as we get more time to play outside and have a good time. And then we head on over to Willie Jules, where we have great dinner and a good time after that. Also want to remind everybody, we've got a couple of great retreats coming up with our friends from Reverb. April 9th and 10th is the first one. That's a Friday and Saturday. And then again, the second weekend in May, I believe it's May 14th and 15th. We'll be heading over to Camp Blanding, and we'll have an incredible time on Kingsley Lake. We'll be out on the jet skis and tubing and having a wonderful time together. And so I hope you'll be a part of that. If you need more information, please let me know in the church office, and we'll get you all the forms that you need and get you the links to get signed up. I know the registrations are already coming in, and I was talking to Pastor Clint last week, and he said of the first 12 registrations they got, all of them are people who've never gone on one of these retreats, which means there's going to be a lot of new folks there and a lot of new excitement, and I know that all you regulars aren't going to want to miss it either. So make sure you've got your calendars marked for that. Also want to let you know we'll be praying for you guys over spring break. For those of you that are traveling, we hope you have a great time wherever you go. Have safe travels. Enjoy this time together with your families and with friends. And we know that we're gearing up for that home stretch as we get ready for the last 9 weeks. And so we know that we're praying for you, and we want to see the best for you as you keep moving forward. So with that said, have a wonderful Tuesday. Enjoy this last day of school before spring break, and then relax, enjoy your spring break, celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and forgive somebody who's done something to you. All right, I love you guys. Have a great day.